Howdy, everybody. We're here for day 12 of Advent to Code 2015. Once again, we're just trying to work through these. If you love problem solving, more importantly, or probably more specifically, solving coding problems, that's what we're doing. And as always, love to hear your input. I kind of try and record these in batches, so if I don't get back to you immediately, don't feel bad. I do it as I have time between kids, family, work and that stuff. But I do want to be interactive, so I promise I'll respond. Anyway, let's go. Let's try day 12. JSAbacusFramework.io. Santa's accounting elves need help balancing the books after a recent order. Unfortunately, their accounting software uses a peculiar storage format. That's where you come in. They have a JSON document, which contains a variety of things: arrays, objects, numbers, and strings. Yeah, there's only like 4 types in a JSON document, right? Yeah, this is the actual thing. So you can have like a value, an array, or an object. And the value can be like a string, a number, true or false or null. So I guess you do have to worry about some more things. But JSON documents are like surprisingly easy to parse. Though if we're parsing it, we may just use something like a parsing utility that's already there, Saturday, for example. Yeah, where was I? They have a JSON document which contains a variety of things: arrays, objects, numbers, and strings. Your first job is to simply find all of the numbers throughout the document and add them together. So 1, 2, 3, and 2, 4, sum to 6. So this is an array with numbers. Numbers throughout the document and add them together. This is 3, 4, -1. -1, 1 is 0. -1, 1 is 0. Those both have a sum of 0. You will not encounter any strings containing numbers. Okay. What is the sum of all numbers? Yeah. I mean, this kind of might lead you astray, right? Like or maybe not astray. It may be a hint. It feels like the easiest thing to do is literally just to parse the JSON and then like go through it. I don't know super well how to do that in using Saturday. Usually the way I use Saturday is I have a defined structure and I know the JSON document is going to be that structure, and so I can just convert it directly. And if there's any failures in the conversion, I know that there's something wrong with the JSON, so I can just bail or, whatever. But like this may be hinting at the fact that maybe you don't even have to parse it. Although it says it's JSON, and so I'm inclined to parse it. So I kind of want to just look at Saturday JSON really quick. Yeah, so you have a bunch of stuff operating on untyped. Yeah, this is the thing, is like I won't know exactly what it is. So any valid JSON data can be manipulated in the following recursive enum representation. The data structure is a value, and it's either null, bool, number, string, array, or object. And it is recursive. So I think we can just solve it recursively, right? So I may want to track this. But it does mean we need Saturday JSON. And then we just go through it and find any of the values that are numbers. And then if we get that number, we increment it. What is a quote unquote number? Let's see. Number. represents a JSON number, whether integer or floating point. Do I just presume they're all integers? Yeah, like JSON and JavaScript numbers can be really strange. They can be an integer or a float. Is there anything that says in here? Right, arrays, objects, numbers, and strings. Your first job is to simply find all the numbers. Like if you look at this definition, a number is like this. This is the definition of a number. So it can definitely be negative, but it can have a dot in it. And it can have these E's. Maybe I just start with floats. And work that way. Okay. Well, at the very least, I know I'm going to have to... yeah, let's look over here. I mean, I don't... Right now, I don't see any... I mean, maybe I do use an integer because I don't see... Like, I'm just kind of spot checking and I don't see anything that's a float. So maybe I do use an int. But I can go here, cargo, add Saturday JSON, because we know we're going to need that. So maybe I pass... I create the... or I do it in here. What was it? From stir. What doesn't it like? It's not Oh, it may think it so like that is what I need to do. And then we'll pass these in here. I mean, I guess I don't know what part 1 does, but this is going to be a type. Value. We'll just make them eye sizes. Okay. So now we can just iterate over this enum. right? So we say like this, and we'll say like the default is 0, right? But if we get a number n, we'll return n dot, wasn't there a 2, what was it? It's a type number. What doesn't like about that? Expected tuple struct or tuple variant. What am I doing wrong? Oh, maybe it. Like that. What doesn't like about this? Mishmash. Does it have an eye size? No. So maybe I just change this to I64. Because I definitely saw negative numbers, right? Yeah, right here. Again, I have no idea what part 2 returns. I don't know why I keep changing part 2. It seems to have worked out. Or the times that I miss it too, it breaks it, right? Okay, so if it's a number, I just return the number. Bool, we don't do anything with. Null, we don't do anything with. So returning 0 is okay. String, we also don't do anything with. Array, we need to iterate through them. So value array. A, we want to do a.iter.map p1 on it dot sum, something like that. What doesn't it like? Oh, so I do have to do this like there's some I don't think I've ever actually used this anyhow result. I thought like it might be interesting to it print error cases, but I've never actually done it. So I may want to switch that out in the future because it makes me do these unwraps all over the place. I mean, I guess I could just do it right here, right now. Like that. Yeah, I've never even used them, so I don't know if it helps any. Okay, so we got a number, an array. Let's see, these ones don't matter. Oh, I did number, string, array. So now I do an object, which is a string value. Interesting. Is that actually the case in the documentation? I think you might be able to do An object is a white space. White space. No, it does require the key to be a string. For some reason I thought you could use numbers in there. Maybe like JavaScript just converts it automatically for you. Okay, but we can do value object. We don't care about the key. Oh no. o.values.map p1.sum like that. I mean, I think that's it. I didn't miss any of them, right? Yeah. So the gist of it is we use Saturday JSON to turn it into this recursive enum, right? And then we call p1 on it, and we say, okay, if the value is a number, we just return that number as an I64. If it's an array, we go through the array and just call p1 recursively on the array and return its sum. If it's an object, we go through the object's values and call p1 on them and return its sum. So it's like we were recursively descending through this recursive value, incrementing the values. Any other things are not numbers, so we return 0. I mean, I think that's it. Seems relatively simple, but again, I used Saturday JSON to help me, and that did like 99% of the heavy lifting. Of course, don't count your chickens before they hatch, but they did hatch. That is the right answer. You're 1 gold star closer to powering the weather machine. There we go. So that works. Yeah, not too bad. And this one is really simple. I think we got fortunate with that. I should say it's simple because we know how to parse it, right? So if you've used JSON before and you know it's like a recursive style thing, you know you can kind of recurse through it, and so that's just what we did. We used recursion. This is one of the problems I ask when we're doing like interview questions. Almost always has to do with recursion, because if you can answer a recursive question, it means you can reason about things like this, where this is so much more readable than if you try to do it any other way, right? You can technically unwind this and try and maintain your own stack and whatever, but you know, this just is so much cleaner. So there you go. Part 2. Uh-oh. The accounting elves have realized that they double counted everything red. Double count. Ignore any object and all of its children which has any property with the value red. Do this only for objects, not arrays. So 1, 2, 3 is the same. This is now 4 because we ignore this 2, is what it's saying, right? This is now 0 because we ignore this entire array because it has this. Because red is in the array, has no effect. So how does that change part 1? Like maybe that's the key off point, as we say, how do we change part 1? I think it's just if we're in this object, we can just do a check really quick here, right? And we can say, if we ever and we don't have to recurse, right? So we can say like, I mean, the short of it is if red found 0, else this. So we just have to do the is there a red in the thing. So I think that is o.values dot map v, and it would be something like if let value string s equal to v, if s equals red, return this will be true, else false, else false, something like that. Oh, and then we want to do like that. It looks a little clunky, but like, I mean, what's happening here is we say go through all the values of the object, and then if one of them, if it's a string, can you do it like this? And s equals red. Does that work? Oops. Seems to be so. Okay. So I can actually change this now to be even simpler, to just be like this v ooh, I can't do the if let, so I do have to do it like this. I do still have to do it like that. I could probably do this in a thing. We'll optimize it later, but I think this is essentially it, right? We're saying if iterate through all the values, check is it a string and is it red, and if so I found a red, otherwise I haven't. If any of them are found, I set this equal to 0, otherwise I do the sum of the others. Okay, I think that solves it. We can see about simplifying. I don't expect to get the same answer. So this is probably not working. Oh, I'm calling P1 again in here. That's silly. There we go. Yeah, I think that's right. That was my mistake. I was worried about, do I have some logical error, but that's right. There we go. Okay. I was worried I had some logical error, but I don't think I do. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't feel too, especially part one is super easy, right? We're just saying go through the array, find all the numbers and sum them up. I did, again, I wonder if there's floats in other solutions. Maybe there is, and you can treat it as a float, right? Like if you're doing this in Python, it's probably easier because it'll just cast it if it ever gets a float, and right, and so then you won't have to worry about it. But here, because typing is important in Rust, we have to worry about ints versus floats. But I do want to, yeah, I want to see part one. I think is super clean. The question is like, how do we optimize this one right here? And I'm inclined to ask AI. Should we try it? See what it says. Like, oh, matches. Someone used matches before. Yeah, okay. Yes, matches is much cleaner. It's matches. I should have thought about that. There's probably other times when I've used this clunky thing and I forget about matches. It is a cool macro. So there you go. Someone has mentioned it in the comments before too. The idea is you want to do like the equivalent of a match, but you want to do it with matches, but you're only doing it like once or whatever. So it's pretty easy to use this matches. So yeah, that feels a lot better, right? So if values any matches string if s equals red, 0 otherwise that. Okay. That feels good. I like it. So there you go. This day wasn't too bad. Again, we let Saturday JSON do like the heavy lifting, implementing your own parser. I don't know. One time I had a thought of like, ooh, could I solve all of these problems without using any external libraries? So like if I wanted to use any external libraries, I'd have to implement it on my own. This is a day where that would be kind of hard, right? You basically are implementing a JSON parser, which again, of the necessary parsers, it's not too complicated, right? It's got a comparatively small syntax and relatively few rules. So again, you could imagine creating a tokenizer and then just creating these rules and following through with them. So, but that would be way harder in this day. So Saturday JSON to the rescue. It's definitely something where like a lot of languages just have built-in features for JSON, or they have libraries, you know, like Saturday JSON. There's a JSON package in Python. Go as, you know, encoding JSON. These are all like super useful because JSON's a pretty common format to do stuff in. So anyway, there you go. That doesn't feel too bad. So I'll submit this for day 12, and you guys are welcome to, you know, critique it. I'd love to see what you think, maybe other ways to do it. And yeah, let me know how you solved it. I'd love to see your code too, so feel free to update my forks or whatever. I think fork my gists is what I'm saying. Fork my gist. And I'd love to see what yours looks like. So there you go. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.